I'm scrolling my YouTube feed and I see this thumbnail by the official WSOP YouTube channel, and it's already got over 130,000 views. There's only one thing left for me to do, and that's react to it. Let's do it. I have not seen any of this before. This will be a first time watch and react. And what a beautiful hand to start with. Just the nuts. Pocket aces. I 3-bet the second in chips at my table. Look at that chip lead. I have 13 milli at this table. He 4-bets me to 1.2, which is beautiful news. I can either call, 4-bet, or even jam was in my mind, but I just decided to click it back in case he was getting a little bit out of line. Spoiler alert, he was, and is going to get even more out of line. He goes all in.
So stubborn.
What do the commentators say?
Knew he'd walked right into it.
Yeah, he was not happy once I put the chips in, and that was not the flop I wanted to see. I wanted to see the 5-5 deuce and just have him practically dead, but the 10 on the turn was beautiful, and the 9, of course. Whew, if I peeled that on GG, I would have got the 4-side and a heart attack. And I'm not sure why they're showing this hand next. This hand definitely happened about an hour or two before the last hand you just saw, and this is one of the hands that got me my big chip stack. And this hand would have been playing in his mind and was one of the reasons why he did jam the ace-10, because he must have thought I was one of those players capable of being really loosey-goosey pre-flop. So I have ace-5 suited. I 3-bet this guy who's been quite active. There's a lot of dynamic here. The hand before, he just 4-bet jack-7 suited. I didn't know this at the time, but he 4-bet, and then got 5-bet jammed on and shown a deuce. So that's the context of this hand here. And he seemed like a bit of a battler. I could have gone it in a lot of different ways here. I could have called, I could have re-raised, but with jacks here, I really don't think you should be click-inducing jacks. Fortunately for him, he finds the right opponent. I do take the hook, line, and sinker, and he's got me right where he wants me. Even though a 65-35 isn't, you don't really love flipping in these spots. Don't get me wrong, if he knows for sure I have ace-5 suited, then it's great, but if he knows I could have queens, ace-king, and ace-5 suited, you really don't want to be in this position if you're him. But, oh, that ace coming, oh, I couldn't contain myself. I was like so excited. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And then the turn. Oh, I saw the paint and I had a heart attack. You can see me there going, oh fuck, oh baby. And yeah, he's not very happy. Oh, this poor guy, he started the table as the big chip leader and he ran very bad in every all-in. And I was happy to help. I was happy to oblige. 7 on the river. I was so happy. I was so happy, but trying to stay calm and composed. I couldn't believe I'd just given my goal. I just couldn't believe I got my golden ticket. What am I saying here?
To do for like the rest of my life, to my parents' horror. Like any good parent, they were rightfully worried and they were a little bit concerned because, you know, being a professional gambler is not every parent's dream. But, you know, after the results came in and I wasn't relying on them and I was happy, they were happy. And it took a few tournament wins, but we got their approval now. Now they're really excited and cheering me on all the time.
Heard about that?
Yeah, true.
Brunson has been on.
I did have the ace-king this hand, so I know exactly, yeah, I know exactly what happened here.
King of spades working.
God, I ran good, just flopping the flush.
Brunson on the strength of that king of spades you were just talking about. And the draw to the nut straight leads out.
So yeah, I could fast play, I could raise it up instantly, but he's going to have all of the king x of spades, all of the ace x of spades, and with my worst spades here, I really didn't want to bloat the pot. I'm going to have a lot of weak hands like king queen, ace queen, pocket 10s, pocket 9s that I'm going to need a little bit of protection from.
Find a way, but he has to feel.
Sorry, that I said that I'm going to need a little bit of protection from, but I'm going to have to protect my range with some flushes. So if I had ace-10 of spades, I would probably call, but if I had ace-5 of spades or something, that would be the hand that I would use to bloat this pot up. And he does bet really, really small here, but we do have a very big stack. We are playing, what is it, like 60 big blinds deep to start the hand. I don't know about going with the 7 high flush draw here. In hindsight, I could have gone bigger on the river, and I really should have, to be honest, because I think one of the only hands that's paying me is ace-king, and hey, if he does have the ace or king high flush, So be it. I would find out because I would raise, and I'm sure he would re-raise, and I'd be able to make a potentially big fold here. So he bets 2.3 million, just kind of a blocky bet. And let's see what happens. What do I go here? Do I go 7.6 or 9.2? I go like, oh, okay, I go like 7.8. I really don't like this very much. Like, he just has to snap it off here. I'm giving him a very easy decision. I could have pocket nines here quite easily. So, yeah, I don't love this raise size from me. I think I should make it bigger. They haven't cut anything here. He did call quite quickly, and I was happy to win the pot, of course, and not get jammed on. But, yeah, I feel like I definitely could have got an extra 2 million chips out of him. Stack ranking 1 of 36. So here we go. Now I'm officially the chip leader. This guy, he'd been very, very honest, I guess you could say. He hadn't gone out of line very much at all. And I was very, very surprised to hear that someone told me that he 3-bet me with Jack-9 suited. I could have done something tricky with 10s, but it's just an amazing hand to call a 3-bet with. And the flop is just very, very bad for me. A king, queen, I could be drawing dead. I do have the 10 of diamonds, which is quite nice for potential, you know, backdoor stuff. But if he has ace-jack, which is one of his bluffing hands, like, there's no way I'm realizing all my equity. And if a 10 comes, it could just be an absolute disaster. Like then, like with his Jack-9 suited. Props to him for finding the bluff here. So this was a few hands later, and I had a feeling that he was strong, but he called alarmingly quickly. I was a little bit worried about aces in the back of my mind, but it was mainly queens. I really thought that he had like queens, potentially jacks, or ace-queen suited were the main hands I was worried about. So the queen in the window is not lovely, and I think on this sort of board, when it just absolutely smashes him, he has no real folds here. Like if he has 2 red jacks, he's still going to call like a very small bet. If he has ace king, I mean, a lot of that would just get put in. But I think a range check here is totally fine as well. I was happy to see the 3.5 mil, like it wasn't a crazy big size, but I imagine queens and aces would also play a similar way. There's no real reason for me to raise here at all. If he has queens or aces, I'm behind. And yeah, if he has jacks with a club, when he checks back the turn, I am so happy with my hand now. I really don't think that he would do this with queens. And the 3 of clubs. I really think he has something though. I think he's got a marginal hand. Could even have 10s. Could have ace-queen suited. My thought this whole time was ace-queen suited that he has, and I'm just hoping that he doesn't believe me. I bet 14 mil, which is about half his stack, and he makes a crazy good laydown with pocket jacks with a club. I did not think he had pocket jacks with a club. I thought he was thinking of hearing me. So, props to him. All right, on to the next hand. I got 9-8 suited in the cutoff, was I? Yes, I was in the cutoff, which is a little bit dicey calling pre-flop. But it checks around after the big blind calls. Jumaloon goes for the re-raise to 6.5-ish. And if you had shown me that he has the nut flush, I wouldn't have done this bluff. But I knew that he could definitely have some flushes here. Like, I figured that he was repping... I'll just pause this real quick. He was repping a flush or some sort of overpair. I felt like an overpair could just never call this here. And he also was the type to be very aggressive in pots. Yeah, so I thought if he had, you know, a blocker or just 2 overs and he detected weakness, he would just, you know, have a bunch of bluffs here potentially. And let alone his flushes. I think his flushes would also have a really hard time calling on the 9 here. I could have all the pocket 9s, which granted isn't even that many combos, or I could have something that I giga slow played.
Gets it through.
I was really, really relieved, obviously. Oh boy. Now here we go with this hand. Okay, so I'm surprised they just cut straight to the river.
To 2 million. Trainer 3-bet to 8 with queens. Jumalon made the call, flopped the set.
Okay, I 3-bet to 9 with queens, but it doesn't really matter all that much. Then he flops a set. So a little bit of context about this hand is that I had just been given info that, hey, Jumalone, he got in ace 10 off for 45 big blind, small blind versus big blind. Granted, this is a little bit of a different spot, but I was thinking that, hey, if he had ace jack or jacks, they might overplay themselves pre-flop. I mean, ace jack is almost certainly just going to call, but I figured that he would have ace jack and jacks here for value, but I didn't even really believe he had jacks. He didn't use a time bank pre when he called. Granted, it's a good call. Like, he should never 4-bet here with jacks. He should only call, which he did. I just thought he would have overplayed it pre-flop. And now when he goes really big on the river, he's very polarized. He never has a 4, in my opinion. I don't think he ever has ace 4 suited. I think that would re-raise pre. He could potentially have ace jack off. Even then, that might decide to click me back. Probably not. I'm probably being ambitious here. But in reality, if he has all of the ace jack and all of the pocket jacks, it's probably about a 9 combos, maybe 10 combos of value. So we're going straight to the flop of ace jack 4 after he called my 9 big blind 3-bet pre. And I think his range is going to be a lot of pocket pairs, a lot of suited Broadway, and a lot of ace 10 suited kind of hands as well. I don't think he'd have that many suited connectors. Nonetheless, I decided to bet small on the flop, and I've already trimmed a bunch of the hands that the solver has calling here. I don't think he'd ever call, for example, with 10-9 suited with backdoors on this flop. That would be crazy. And he is meant to float very wide with pocket pairs as well. I thought he was capable of it as well, but probably not to this extent. Nonetheless, he calls, and we go to the 8 of diamonds on the turn, a brickety brick. And the solver would have me betting again, just because he's meant to be calling so many pocket pairs on the turn. In reality, I check, and I think betting here would be a big mistake. And so I decide to check. And I've input his size that he used, which was about 8.7 or 8.5, and versus that size, the solver would have queens as a slight call, but even then it's very, very close. We can see that in theory here, he's only bluffing a very small percentage of the time with king 10, king queen sort of hands, and even these low pocket pairs like pocket fives. So what I'm going to do is node lock so he's more aggressive and he bluffs more, which was my read of him at the time. I think it's accurate, and let's have him bluffing like 80% instead of just 20% of these combos. I'll have him check more of the jack 10. I don't think he'd really bluff the king jack. I think jack 10 might like potentially do it as well. I think pocket fives, if he gets here with a pocket pair that small, I think he could start bluffing. And similarly with king 10, queen 10, I think that these hands would very likely bet as well. I think that ace jack as well would pretty much always bet here. So I'll put them in the bet pure category as well. And jacks, I think, are betting pure like they actually did in real time. So adjusting for this, we can see that queens is actually a call. Okay, I was like, okay, I hope because I've added a whole bunch of combos here, the queen's torch isn't going to be, the queen's call isn't going to be super torch, and it's not. So it is slightly plus in this sim anyway, and I call, and now we go to the river, which was the turn 4. In my head, I was getting ready to fold to a river bet, but once he made it so big and so polar, we can see that the solver really likes jam here, but he decided to go for like 10 bigs off a jam. It was effectively a jam, but he left some chips behind. So in theory land, I meant to just pure fold my queens, and I meant to look him up with my ace-x sort of hands. However, we can see here that he's barely bluffing any king queen, king 10, queen 10, and pocket fives and pocket sixes are a mix. So if I have him node locked to bluff just a little bit more, let's say just the king queen off combos. Another thing that's really important as well, I don't think he has ace queen off at all. He is not going this big with ace queen off here. I really did not think so at all. But jacks, ace jack, absolutely going to have those. We can leave everything else. All I'm changing is ace queen off and king queen. And suddenly the queen's call is actually very, very plus in this simulation. So if there's one thing that you can take away, it is, if your call's bad, just node lock it in the solver until it becomes good again. In all seriousness though, this was kind of where my mind was at, where, hey, even if he just slightly overbluffs these king-queen sorts of hands, even though I block them, it's irrelevant. because he has so few value combos as well. He only had pocket jacks or ace jack suited or pocket eights in my mind, and if he's just slightly over bluffing here, it becomes a very plus call on the river. Whether all that analysis was right or wrong in the long term, it doesn't matter. We're in the short term, and I decided to make the call. And yeah, I really regret calling here, because even talking to you guys just now about my thought process about the hand, and I should have just folded here. Like, this pot really cost me the tournament, and I've never been so gutted at a poker table before. I was so depressed for an hour. I was really keen for the break. I knitted up, I played. I didn't want to battle like at all until I got that like dark cloud away from my head. Because if I just folded there, even when I called the turn, my mindset was, all right, you're going to call the turn, and if you blast the river, you have an easy fold, and you would be able to call with pocket aces, obviously your traps, or like hero call with other hands like a potential ace, like ace 5 off bluff or something like that, right? Just absolutely no reason for me to call there in the large scheme of things, because if I fold, I still have 60 million in chips, which is a monstrous stack on this table, and I would be in an absolute dream spot to just crush. Now I'm down to 25, just absolutely crippled in terms of what I can do, like 25 big blinds. But we're on to a different hand already. All right, so I got 7-5 suited. I defend. I could definitely raise it here, but just going to decide to call. And I'm thinking of a turn. I'm thinking like, some sort of 3-side. What could it be? Bang, just the 6 of spades. My friend's favorite card, shout out to you. And just the absolute dream turn. And he's about to reach for chips. I'll skip forward a little bit. Wow, they had him shuffling for about 10 seconds. And when he bets this turn, I really think he has something. Like, I really do, because this, like, he's got to either turn ace queen, ace 10 off into a bluff here, or he's got to have something. And that turn just smashes me. This guy didn't seem like the kind of zero equity bluff too much. So I figured, hey, he's got spades, he's got a set, he's got ace king, or he's got aces. That's what I was thinking. So I give him the clicker, not quite a click, but a small raise. And I'm thinking, please don't pair the board, please no spade. Please don't pair the board, no spade. Also 5 and 7 suck, because they, like, I'm not going to lose the hand, but they're going to cost me value. 5 of spades, one of the worst cards in the deck. It's going to cost me value here. And, yeah, there's only one move for me to make here as well. I never think he floats me with something crazy like pocket 10s and is now going to turn something into a bluff. I just think the pocket 10s would just check back turn or just fold versus my raise. So there's really only one move, and pray I get called by, pocket kings or pocket 8s or something, which is definitely possible, because I could definitely have pocket 6s that would play similarly. And as soon as he does this, I'm very happy, because there is that fear inside where he could have ace 8 of spades, he could have ace queen of spades. And props to my opponent. For the second time, he's made a very good fold against me. And here's the thing as well. They, 37 mil. I'm up to 37 mil here. I had about 41 mil, I think, to start this hand. Yes, I did. And I got ace 2 suited in against king queen suited. The chip leader, Jumaloon, got moved away from my table. So if I win this pot, I am now the chip leader of the table, and I'm super stoked. He flops a heart draw. I'm a bit crushed. I would have loved just a boom ace and for it to all be over. Still a flip. We've kind of swapped equity a little bit, but what's the turn going to be? I know what the turn is. A lot of cinematic. Maybe I get the commentary.
To the turn. We go, and it's the king. The king. Now trainer.
Oh, so many people were rooting for me, actually. So many people were rooting for me, because there was a massive ladder for 11th. So we got 12 left. 10 and 11 got this massive ladder. So you hear the king come, and you hear this, usually you hear like cheering when someone gets there, because their rail is like super loud and excited. This time you had everyone's rail cheering for me, so they'd get the massive 240k ladder.
Club versions unavailable. As only we know. Can have a guru. All in 14. Yes.
All right, and we just stone brick out. Fair enough. I have ran very good this tournament here. So this one now is, yeah, this one I'm not actually happy with, even though I think it's fine. So it folds around to me. I jam 15 mil and 15 mil effective with king deuce off, blind versus blind. Instead of just a rushed justification, I wanted to use the solver and give a more in-depth analysis onto exactly how bad or okay my king 2 off jam was in this situation. So it folds to me and I jam for about 13 big blinds into the big blind with king 2 off. And we can see that after I've exactly put in the main event payouts, that king 2 off should be played primarily as a raise to 2.3. However, this is just the blanket solver talking. There's no node locking so far, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust my opponent's calling range and what I thought his calling range was at the time. And I double checked and we were definitely on a huge pay jump, so I thought his range would look about this, right? So taking this into account, let's run the solver again and see how my jam fares up against this calling range. Okay, after letting it run, we can see that the solver actually just likes jamming any two. A lot of people forget that this is a big blind ante tournament, and with 6 people on the table, the ante is actually worth a lot more than it's supposed to, so we can jam wider than just your regular charts as well. So we can see here that king 2 off, it really likes it in the solver, but even after seeing the solver's output, I don't like this play. The EV difference is only worth about $1,000, and when you're playing for 10 million, that's not much at all, especially to just keep the variance low. I'm sure that if I played it post-flop, I would have been able to navigate well and avoid running into any ace-x snap calls. And let's see the hand that happens.
He can't manage to get lucky here.
Yeah, I'm actually a really big dog here, 35-65, not looking very good. Very cool image there. Man wrapped in the French flag for millions of dollars of equity spot. It's probably like a $2 million spot. This hand, he windows a 4, which is very not good. I got a lot of good backdoors with the king of spades. But yeah, going back to why I think this hand's a mistake, I should always just make this hand like 2.5 from the small blind, or like, you know, just a small raise here. I really don't need to jam my whole stack in, because if he would have had ace 4, I would have raised, he would have jammed, I would have folded, and it would have saved me running this really big 35-65. Even if he does slightly overfold, it's just not worth the variance in a spot this big. Bink, there's the ace. Spade on the turn would have been mwah, and it would have done him very dirty. I'm back down to 12 mil, and I get on the final table. This was the unofficial final table, 8 of 9. So, sorry, I'm sitting 8 out of 10. It's a 10-handed final table, folds around to me, and I jam for 12 big blinds, queen 8 off in the small blind. And how come every time I just jam the small blind, I just get like relatively snapped off in the big and they just wake up with it? King 7 suited is another very dicey one. Like I thought on the final table bubble, he would be like way tighter calling off as well. I mean, queen 8 off, there's nothing I can do. I'm literally handcuffed. This hand sucks to raise fold. This hand sucks to limp fold. This hand kind of sucks to jam as well in this spot. But nonetheless, I do have to jam. He does call me with the king 7 suited. I'm in slightly better shape than last time. But yeah, if I win this pot, I'm back up to 48 mil. I'm back into like, you know, 5th in chips. Have a really good shot ahead of me at doing very, very well. And now everyone's rooting for me. Everyone around me is like, please, we want to go home. We want to make the final table and lock it up. I really thought a queen or 8 was inbound and imminent, and I would be making the WSOP main event final table. Ace is no good. He just needs to fade a queen or an 8. Damn, bringing some emotion back, bringing some feels back. Let's see what the commentators say. Oh yeah, okay. Just jump straight to the final hand. So we're still 10 left, and unfortunately, during this time, so I do defend Jack 4 suited here. During this time, there had been one all-in ace king versus 10s. I really wanted an ace or a king for the 10s to bust, and we would all make the final table. The 10s held, and I literally had to blind out for 2 orbits. So I just folded for an orbit and a half or 2 orbits. I defend the Jack 4 suited, I flop a 4, very happy with this. I get it in, I'm against King Queen. If I hold, I have 10 big blinds, which is plenty. I love playing 10 big blinds.
Israel loves the update.
Really big spot here.
72%.
You can hear the chants of hold, king. Everyone's rooting against me right now. They really all want to make the final table, and I don't blame them one bit. 9 on the turn.
Jumalon picks up the 9 as an out.
In my head right now, I'm just thinking, no king, no queen, no king, no queen. Jumalon started counting the chips. He started pushing them towards me. Not sure if you can see it here.
What's it gonna be? It's the 9.
Ooh. And it wasn't the king, wasn't the queen. It was the runner on a counterfeit. And now I got to go around saying goodbyes. I hadn't played with the Canadian fella very much, but he did have some really kind words for me. It was just like, you took the beats like a champ. Really nice playing with you. And yeah, so many nice people here. It's such a special feeling when you run this deep. Like, everyone's really nice to each other because we know we're like making kind of history together. Everyone's locked up a lot of money. There's no real animosity towards people. Unlike in a lot of poker tournaments, you have like this sense of battling and like this nastiness. When it's the main event, like final table bubble, like everyone's just really happy and nice. So there were tons of really cool hands that they didn't show, which was a little bit disappointing. Even some massive ones, like when I river a flush against Doyle Bronson's son to kick him out of the tournament.
Back-to-back hands with the Young Bucks in and up against it.
The river's a club, and that will see the end of the road for Todd Brunson.
Like, how do they not show that, and then they show me check folding on some random king-queen high board? Nonetheless, it was still really cool to feature in a real WSOP YouTube video, even if it wasn't the title that I wanted to see. Thanks for watching.